Good morning, everybody. I'm Lee Nelson. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, July 29th. What happened on this day? Well, while the telephone was invented in 1849, the first transcontinental phone call didn't happen until 50 years later in 1914. It shared today's date, though, and the two people had a conversation all the way from New York, New York, out to San Francisco, California. One man and a 292-mile swim down the Mississippi River. John Sigmund broke the world record for distance swimming in 1940. It took him 89 hours and 48 minutes to do it. Wow. And back on this day in 2005, there was a new discovery in outer space. It was a new planet. It was named Xena. But if you're wondering why you may not have heard of that, it's because in 2006 it was renamed Eris. It is known as a dwarf planet. That's the same category Pluto now falls under, and it's actually a little bit larger than Pluto. All right, let's get to the weather, see what Tom has for us. He's in again today for Todd. Tom, what you got?
Well, a lot quieter this morning,
Good.
Lee.
Absolutely. All right, Tom, thank you very much. We'll talk to you again in a few minutes with more.
All right.
It's coming up on 4:34. In the news this morning, the town of Albion is recovering this morning after a storm swept through the town last night. The storm came into the area about 6:30. It left behind some damage, too, snapped some trees, nearly missed some homes as the trees fell. Some families say the damage could have been a lot worse, though. The town's fire captain says he suspects it was a microburst, but officials with the National Weather Service are going to have to travel to Albion to investigate that.
It was pouring so hard, and then it started hailing. Awful.
Sheets of hail, just like you would see sheets of snow, but it was hail. And basically really couldn't see anything because it was so heavy.
I feel very, very lucky.
Now, this storm did cause some power outages for Central Maine Power customers, with the highest number near about 3,000, most in Somerset, Kennebec, and Franklin and Waldo counties this morning. There are just a few scattered outages remaining. Emera Maine did not report any significant outages. Other news this morning, the second man arrested in connection with that Old Port shooting that killed a young man and injured another. Well, he appears in court today. Police arrested Gang Majak on Monday. He's charged with murder and elevated aggravated assault. Another man, Johnny Ouch is on the left there. He was arrested earlier this month on the same charges. 19-year-old Trey Arsenault died in the shootings back in late May outside De Block Studios in the Old Port in Portland. Meantime, we're now hearing from Arsenault's mom about the two recent arrests in connection with his killing. Nancy Laxon says she's still heartbroken, obviously, over losing her son, but she says she is satisfied with the Portland Police Department and how they handled the investigation. And she also believes the families of the suspects are not to blame for the shooting. Laxon says the arrests are bringing some justice, but not closure.
And I don't understand why his life was taken so early. But it was. And now it's time to let justice come help our family.
Nancy Laxon says she has met with the mayor of Westbrook. The city has raised more than $30,000 to renovate basketball courts, and the city plans to name them after her son. Meantime, the man convicted of killing his grandmother in Old Orchard Beach will be sentenced later today. Derek Poulin faces 25 years to life in prison for the murder, 40 years in prison for arson. He was found guilty last month for stabbing Patricia Noel and then setting her body and home on fire. This is back in 2012. Investigators say Noel was beaten with a golf club, a wrench, and stabbed 72 times. During the trial, prosecutors said Poulin did it because his grandmother wanted him to move out of the house. A couple of men convicted of a triple murder in Bangor about 3 years ago will spend the rest of their lives behind bars. Randall DeLuz was found guilty on 3 counts of murder and 1 count of arson in the shooting deaths of Daniel Borders, Nicole Lugden, and Lucas Toscano. The 3 bodies were found in a burned-out car. Nicholas Sexton was found guilty of Lugden's murder and arson. DeLuz was sentenced yesterday to life in prison for his role. Sexton was sentenced to 90 years. Their attorneys have filed an appeal. A man from Texas is in Maine now to face a judge for a sexual abuse case against a 7-year-old. The Lincoln County Sheriff says Stacy Parker abused a 7-year-old back in 2010 on Westport Island. They say he did it several times. At the time, he was a friend of the victim's family. Parker was extradited from Texas and is now at the Two Bridges Regional Jail in Wiscasset. He'll be back in court in September. Camden police have arrested a 14-year-old boy for sending threatening messages to a young girl. Last month, the assistant principal at Camden Rockport Middle School reported to police that a 13-year-old female student was getting threatening messages. Investigators say they told her that if she did not send naked photos of herself on Instagram and Snapchat, the person would attack and rape her. Camden police got search warrants for Snapchat and Time Warner to trace the IP address of where those notes were coming from, and it led them to the 14-year-old boy. He is from Rockport. Right now he's charged with terrorizing and criminal threatening. Well, it appears Tom Brady's suspension for his alleged role in Deflategate will be heading to court now. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell upheld Brady's 4-game suspension yesterday. Brady and the Patriots have denied knowingly using deflated footballs in the AFC title win over the Indianapolis Colts. The NFL Players Association says they will appeal this decision on Brady's behalf. Brady is expected to seek an injunction that would allow him to play while his case works its way through the court system. Coach Bill Belichick is set to address the media this morning. Brady will take questions, we're told, tomorrow. A couple of weeks after fire tore through several buildings in downtown Gardner, one of those businesses there is starting to rebuild. It's Touch of Gray Tattoo Studio. They lost thousands of dollars worth of ink and other supplies in the fire. Now, it was a brand new business. It had just held its grand opening just days before the fire. The owner, Chris Flynn, says he's temporarily reopened the shop at its old location in Farmingdale. Flynn says people in the community have helped out a lot, and a lot of other tattoo artists all across the Northeast have been donating supplies to Touch of Gray as well.
People as far as upstate New York sending us supplies, so I feel very honored to be part of the tattoo community. It's really a brotherhood, and we help our own, so a lot of respect there.
Now, the city and the United Way of Kennebec Valley have also collected more than $13,000 in donations. That money will go to displaced tenants and the downtown businesses trying to recover, just like the Touch of Gray Tattoo Studio. Hey, the Maine Lobster Festival kicks off today. The festival runs through Sunday. It includes a whole lot of events, a parade, a carnival, of course, a performance by Don McLean. Tomorrow night at 8 will be the Maine Sea Goddess coronation. It all takes place in Rockland's Harbor Park. 60-second check of some headlines from around the nation and the world now. Joyce Mitchell's lawyer says the former prison employee knows she made a horrible mistake by getting involved with Richard Matt and David Sweat. They're the two killers who staged an elaborate escape from that prison in northern New York last month after Mitchell smuggled hacksaw blades and other tools into them. She pleaded guilty to charges of helping in their escape. The two men spent nearly 3 weeks on the run before one was killed and the other recaptured. 8 children have been injured, 2 critically, after a tree uprooted and fell on them at a summer camp in Pasadena, California. A city spokeswoman says the 75-foot tall, 75-year-old pine crashed without warning yesterday just outside the Kids Space Children's Museum. Some parents rushed over and began pulling the kids free of the branches. The injured kids range from 6 to 8 years old. And the Coast Guard says search crews will continue focusing on the waters off northern Florida and southern Georgia early this morning for those 2 teen fishermen who haven't been seen since early in the weekend. Their undamaged boat was found capsized. Their families pledged a $100,000 reward in the search. Many friends and strangers, too, have also taken planes searching for clues in that case. It's 4:41. Something as small as a bracelet could be used as a tool for those with autism. We'll show you how after the break.